put down British films, and they have a very odd influence on filmmakers, because filmmakers think that they should make films for the critics here.
10 more days of Christmas.
It's Christmas time in New York, and King George is about to go on American release. Sam Goldwyn has decided to open here first in hopes that a good reception will kickstart his marketing campaign. Tonight, he's invited a group of influential Americans to a special preview. New York's best-known British expats, Tina Brown and Harold Evans, have agreed to host the evening. Afterwards, Goldwyn throws a party for the opinion formers who have the power to put King George on the map.
The people who are here tonight are the most important writers, editors, filmmakers, actors in New York, and they're going to talk about it, and they're going to help this film reach its audience.
Are you going to help? Are you going to tell your friends?
Yeah, I'm a big mouth. When I love something, I tell everybody.
I will tell them, if you want to see a wonderful film, go see this film.
I think you've got enough people here tonight, maybe 100, 200, of the real mouths, the big mouths we call them, and they'll go out and they'll speak to 200,000 people.
Tina was my model. She gave me the secret.
When something like this arrives, you just feel you want as many people to know about it, because this is the very best that Evening could do.
Word of mouth is just as important as anything else, and I think the word of mouth on this will be excellent with people who matter.
Glad to get you. Right here, please.
Just before the end-of-year deadline to qualify for the Oscars, King George opens in a low-key way, playing in only one cinema in New York and one in Los Angeles. The reviews are rapturous, and in the Goldwyn camp, there's cautious talk of Oscar nominations.
I think it's a very tight, very tough competition. We've got one performance out there that's very tough in Forrest Gump. But Tom Hanks won it last year, and people like to discover something. Nigel's going to be a real discovery for people.
It's too absurd even to think about. So I don't choose to think about it at all.
The big problem with this film is that I think it'll do amazingly well in the UK for reasons I already said, but I think in America it is probably going to be an art house movie, and that's all. It probably won't cross over to the mainstream. But if we get Oscar nominations, that will kindle this interest that may allow it to cross over.
The decision is made to invest in a full-scale campaign for Oscar nominations, guaranteed to boost box office receipts. Nigel Hawthorne is flown to New York for a promotional tour.
Yeah, some friends and I'd like them to come and meet the real Sir Humphrey.
All this Oscar talk, how does it sit with you?
Oscar Schmosko.
It would be a wonderful irony if King George, the man who lost the colonies, might wind up through a film about his life taking home a trophy from America.
I know people are talking about you as a possible Oscar contender for this.
Let them.
3, 2, 1, go!
Goldwyn's strategy pays off as the film collects 4 nominations, including one for Nigel Hawthorne as Best Actor. It moves into the top 10 at the U.S. box office, but Sam can't yet measure its potential profit.
I can't really tell you at this point.
Could you give me a ballpark of
No,
what sorts of figures
I
you'd like to see?
I'd like to see this picture beat Jurassic Park.
That doesn't help me.
It helped me.
Meanwhile, back in Soho, Clockwork Mice is unveiled for the first time at a public screening, a somewhat less glamorous affair. A small group of people, chosen at random, will be invited to comment on the film.
At this level of filmmaking, there's a lot of improvisation, and it's very hands-on. So we've got a 35-seat preview in Soho with friends of friends invited and a photocopied questionnaire.
Hello everybody, thank you all for coming and being prepared to be guinea pigs for us. I hope you enjoy the film. Please watch it as if you were a punter and answer the questions accordingly.
And we will be supplying a glass of wine with 1 hula hoop each.
Yeah.
The questions test audience reaction. Did they understand the plot? Do they like the characters? Does the emotional ending work?
Oh, yes, she can do my reviews. Emotional, touching, funny and sad. Yes, we know that.
Yes, hang on, whoa, stop. I must confess, a tear at the end.
Oh, yes!
The annual American Film Market in Santa Monica, California. The idea of film as a business is seen most clearly at the industry's largest annual trade fair. The rights to thousands of films are available here, from big-budget studio releases to cheap and cheerful videos, which keep the dream factory rolling.
It's a very easy, convenient place to do business. You just straight into one room, straight into the next, you see what you want, you move. It's a very quick in-go. It's a real kind of American hustle, and more Europe is going to have to become part of it.
Paul is here to hustle. His two-part plan is to interest American distributors in Clockwork Mice and to attract backing for future projects.
The most important thing is to try and do a US deal for the film, because that's the most important territory, leads all the other territories, and what it'll do if I can do it here, it means that for Cannes, in 3 months' time, I've got a wonderful selling platform because I've got an American distributor that's taken the film. I need to give you guys 2 tickets for the screening.
What screening?
Clockwork Mice.
But there's a problem. Clockwork Mice is not yet complete. Only half the film is available for screening to foreign buyers. Paul still hopes he can make a deal.
Then go straight down the lobby for 12:30. You must come see it. It's a wonderful film.
If you give me 5, I'll go.
5.
Okay?
Always hustling me. You're always hustling me, Richard.
And I want good seats.
The best.
During the American Film Market, every little cinema in Santa Monica is busy day and night with screenings of new product. Clockwork Mice has a slot at 7 p.m.
We're waiting for the head of Warner Brothers who's eating oysters in the restaurant here. So I've gone in and I've smashed his face in the plate. Said, leave him alone, get... No, I haven't really, but we're actually late. We're waiting because the Warner Brothers bloke is eating oysters. I mean, is the film business mad or is the film business mad?
The preview is a success. By the next morning, Paul's agent is seeing the first of the big American buyers. Paul originally planned to launch the completed film at Cannes in 3 months' time. Now he agrees to have an early print rushed to Los Angeles.
I thought that the kids were wonderful. I love the fact that they use very little kids. You know, that is wonderful. But it's the kind of film that has to work completely for us to be able to market in the United States. So it's not, I'm very, very, very encouraged by the footage I saw, but I would not be buying it until I see it finished, which is on the 7th, yeah.
Well, so far, they've all been in, you know, Disney and Miramax and Goldwyn's and everybody saying lots of good things, so it's just now whether, you know, the good things become great things and they actually sign on the dotted.
Also at the market is the Goldwyn Company. So far, Sam has spent over £1 million promoting and advertising King George. On the strength of its American debut, foreign sales are brisk.
Australia's gone? Australia's done.
This is when the money goes out, and you hope that it comes back, because we're going to spend as much money as it takes to make this, to realize the last dollar on the picture.
But then what do you need to get back in order to push this into profit?
For every dollar you spend, you have to get $2 back.
And is that going to be possible with the madness of King George?
I'm optimistic. I don't spend it unless I thought I would.
Exactly as planned, on the back of glowing reviews from America and box office success, The Madness of King George opens in London.
The first weekend of a picture is everything. That's why all the money's spent. That's why everything is geared to make that weekend happen. And of course, needless to say, we're going to be biting our nails to see if the reaction in Britain is like it's been here.
Its timing is immaculate, sandwiched strategically between Oscar nominations and the awards themselves.
Absolutely superb. Really a tour de force. Wonderful.
It's very funny, it's very sad, it's very moving, it's everything.
Captivating.
I think they did the most wonderful job.
It's completely stylish and brilliantly acted and orchestrated, and I loved every moment of it.
I've come to it fresh, and I think it's absolutely fabulous. It's got charm, it's got warmth, it's got wit, and it hasn't got Arnold Schwarzenegger.
This has been the one I've been nervous about. I had a very good feeling always about America, but I was never sure here. And this audience tonight, oh God, if they're like this all over England, please, we're in.
As an investor in the film, Channel 4 strongly supports the policy of opening in America first.
Well, it has been a fact that British films that really do well in England, in Britain generally, first have to do well in America. And the fact that this film has made a big impact in America will make an enormous difference to how many people see it in the UK. There's no question about it.
The success of King George continues at the Cannes Film Festival, where Helen Mirren wins the prize for Best Actress. Paul Brooks is also at Cannes, pursuing his own strategy. As yet, there's no American deal on Clockwork Mice, so he'll concentrate on European sales to generate both interest and income. At a small cinema in the back streets, the film is scheduled to be screened for potential buyers.
The end of the journey for a film that I dropped, sweated and squeezed blood for, and screening for distributors, my hand scrawled on a little mathematics graph.
Then, unexpected problems. The print of the film doesn't fit the French projector, and it looks as if there may be no screening at all.
But what is the problem? I don't follow entirely what the problem is.
Well, in other words, maybe I'm not translating properly. He says your film's en plein cadre. Ça veut dire quoi, plein cadre?
There's 35 mil, one
There's no separation of images on your film, okay?
Technical problems resolved, the screening goes ahead, and there's no mistaking the enthusiasm of buyers.
The performances were so natural. The teachers were really...
very much was at the end.
Yeah, it was? Yeah. Okay, good.
Within hours, the sales agents have closed the first deal.
You screened the film this morning at 10, literally within about 15 minutes of the screening, finishing. Your film came up here, said they loved the film, and we negotiated a deal.
That's good, isn't it? That's really good. Is that good, Paul? It's good, isn't it? That's good, Beds.
With European sales taking off, a decision is made to open the film in Britain first. A London release is planned for late June.
Well, so far, I don't think it could have gone too much better. I got two German companies competing madly for the film, at double the original estimates, which means my investors will be very happy. I've got Canadians and Koreans leaping up and down for it. So all I'm kind of keep my fingers crossed for now is that big American deal. But that inevitably takes a little time.
But Paul Brooks has succeeded in making one American deal. Like so many of Britain's most promising independent producers, he's turned to Hollywood to finance his new picture.
So that's going to be Flames. So that's going to be the sort of phoenix emerging out of the flames.
Fine.
Shot.
The sci-fi action thriller Proteus is already on location in London. With 4 pictures to his credit in 3 years, he feels he's learned the secret of survival in the film business, continuity of product.
I'm delivering at a rate of knots, and people say how and why, and just because I'm obsessed, completely obsessed, and the harder it gets, the more I like it. And
but
the reason
the secret, you're saying, is volume or critical mass.
Well, no, the secret is volume with a quality threshold. And that's another reason why it's hard. But fundamentally, the more you do, the better you'll get.
Is that the message for the British film industry in general, that a certain amount of continuity and investment in the product is necessary?
You must think in terms of continuity. You must not think in terms of one at a time. And that's what's happened here. That's really what's happened here. And it happens again and again and again. Until it stops happening, there won't be a business.
It seems that new momentum has been created in Britain's film industry. This time, insiders say, it can be maintained only if we learn from past mistakes.
It's like a game of football in a season. You know, some games you win and some you lose, but as long as you're still playing at the end of the season, and as long as you can start next year, and all it's about is staying in the game and just delivering better each time. And that's all I'm trying to do.
You see, the movie business is not roulette. It's a business. The trouble is too many people think of it in terms of, you know, I'll go and I'll put my number down and I'll hit 36 to 1. That's not what it's about. It's about breaking even sometimes, losing a little bit sometimes, and making sometimes. And if you do that, you run a stable business.
But the idea is you've got to win a little more often than you lose.
If you win 51% of the time in the movie business, in the entertainment business, you're very, very successful.
You want to be in pictures, you're wonderful to see. You ought to be in pictures, how beautiful you would be. Your voice would thrill a nation, your face would be adored. You'd make a great sensation with wealth and fame, your reward. You ought to shine as brightly as Jupiter and Mars. You ought to be in pictures, my star of stars.
On BBC One now, except in Scotland, a Baywatch offers sun, sand, sea and the exotic wildlife off the coast of Western Australia.
Someone told you that Britain should have made peace with Germany in 1941. And Britain deliberately let Nazi war criminals escape trial. And that some gangs of French resistance fighters killed as many French as Nazis. And that behind the cosy image of Britain's home front lay conflict. What would you think? In the first program, Alan Clark states his belief that Britain should have made peace in 1941.
Continuing the war beyond a certain point prolonged the bloodshed and left Britain irreparably damaged.
Myths and Memories of World War II. Debated Tuesday, 9:30 on BBC Two.
In half an hour, Gary Rhodes goes back to his roots when he visits Kent for tarts and crumbles. Now on BBC Two, big names and big bands, including Cleo Lane and Johnny Dankworth.
Popular music has many faces and many names. In the 80s, it was rap, new romantics, and techno. In the 70s, it was glam rock, new wave, and punk. The 60s brought us beat, rhythm and blues and soul, and the 50s, rock and roll and skiffle. And the 30s and 40s? Well, no contest. That was the era of the big bands.
Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me.
Come on, little baby, let's talk music. Let's talk now.
50 years have passed since the golden days of the big bands, and it's now difficult to appreciate just how popular they were. In their day, successful band leaders and singers enjoyed the same public recognition as today's pop stars, and young fans would scream and swoon for Frank Sinatra or Harry James, just as fans do today for Take That or East 17. One of the most successful outfits of that period were the Andrews Sisters from Minneapolis, whose close harmony singing sold over 60 million records. Here is the Piccadilly Dance Orchestra and the Andrews Sisters' 1938 signature song, Bei mir bist du schön.
Shane means that you're grand. My dear Mr. Shane, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land. I could say Bella, Bella, even say Wunderbar. Each language only helps me tell you how grand you are. I've tried to explain by mere Mr. Shane. So kiss me and say you'll understand.
Undoubtedly the most famous American band of the swing era was led by Glenn Miller. Although not as musically hot as Artie Shaw or Tommy Dorsey, the so-called Miller sound, clarinet carrying the high melody with tenor sax an octave below, captured the ear of the nation. In 1944, Major Glenn Miller and a US Army band visited Britain to play to the troops and to broadcast on the BBC. On the 15th of December, he took off from an airfield in Bedfordshire for the short flight to Paris. He was never seen again. Here is the BBC Big Band and Glenn Miller's 1942 arrangement of A String of Pearls. Although the end of the Second World War marked the beginning of the end for the big bands, there are some band leaders who still manage to keep something of that tradition alive today. One of them is Johnny Dankworth, who not only plays but also composes, and with his wife Cleo Lane runs jazz workshops for young musicians. Here is Johnny with Cleo and The Lies of Handsome Men.
I believe in star signs, and I believe in film romances. I believe in fantasies, and I believe with just one glance he's crazy about my eyes. 'Cause I believe the lies of handsome men. I believe in witchcraft, and I believe in Cinderella. I believe in gypsies, and I believe I've cast a spell that sent him to the skies. 'Cause I believe the lies of handsome men. Somewhere in the corner of my mind, I'm not a fool, completely blind. And even though he's put me on his line, I guess the pleasure's been mine. I believe in love songs. They seem to know just what I'm feeling. I believe Prince Charming. I never guess he's double dealing. How my spirits rise, believing in the lies of handsome men. Sometimes in a dark and quiet place, the truth and I come face to face. And even though his hardness disappears, I keep some precious I believe in heroes, and I expect that happy ending, wishing on some rainbow. I pretend he's not pretending. Someday I'll grow wise, but right now I need the love
One of the most influential big band leaders was one Edward Kennedy Ellington, better known to the world as Duke. Right from the 1920s, when his band was headlining at the famous Cotton Club in Harlem in New York, Duke Ellington was constantly trying out new sounds, new arrangements, new techniques. In 1928, his was the first band to use an amplified bass. 10 years later, he was experimenting with echo chambers and Latin American rhythms. The Duke did not like labels. There are only two kinds of music, he said, good and bad. Here is the BBC Big Band under the baton of Jack Parnell with Helen Shapiro and a couple of the Duke's finest.
I let a song go out of my heart. It was the sweetest melody. I know I lost heaven 'cause you were the song. Since you and I have drifted apart, life doesn't mean a thing to me. Please come back, sweet music. I know I was wrong. Am I too late to make amends? You know that we were meant to be more than just friends, just friends. I let a song go out of my heart. Believe me, baby, when I say I won't know sweet music until you return someday. Saturday dance, heard they crowded the floor, couldn't bear it without you, don't get around much anymore. Thought I'd visit the club, got as far as the door, why they'd have asked me about you, so I don't get around much anymore. Without you, so I don't get around much, don't get around. You know I miss the Saturday dance. Heard they crowded the floor. I couldn't bear it without you. Don't get around much anymore. I thought I'd visit the club. Got as far as the door. So I don't get around much anymore. Yes, my darling, darling, I guess that my mind's more at ease. Yes, but nevertheless, why go stir up memories, spinning round and on days? Might I come back one don't get around much anymore. Without you, don't get around much anymore.
That was Helen Shapiro with Jack Parnell and the BBC Big Band and two Ellington compositions, I Let a Song Go Out of My Heart, published in 1938, and Don't Get Around Much Anymore, from 5 years later. One of today's band leaders following in the Duke's giant footsteps is Andy Pryor, and here he is with his band and Beware the Man with Love in His Eyes.
Beware that man with love in his eyes, for all it takes is one stare. Beware that man, for he's full of lies, he'll taunt you right into his lair. You think that the man of your dreams, handsome and debonair. He will woo you, caress you, and love you so much you will feel you're floating on air. Beware that man with love in his eyes, for all it takes is one glare. Beware that man, for he's full of lies. He will taunt you right into his lair. And when you are up on